Let's go Tyler's back with the retro reviews here on Tyler's Retro Reviews with TNA Slammiversary 2006. And we're going to take a look at these June reviews. This you're going to look at next week. You obviously know what next week is, and you obviously know what the others are, but anyways. But we'll get to Slammiversary first, so here's that. Took place on June 18th at the Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida. So this was like their 4th anniversary of the company. They debuted in 2002, and there's that. But anyways, you know, it was still 19 years later, still is a pretty solid event. You know, 2016 TNA was a pretty good to watch. Still, this was before Hogan came in 4 years later, and you obviously know about that. Anyways, let's get on to it. We started with a bingo hall brawl. It's mostly a hardcore match, really. Team 3D defeats the James Gang. Yes. This was a week after they rebooted ECW as the 3rd brand, by the way. A week after this, because you know, One Night Stand 6, and you obviously know about that. I did the 3 like ECW pay-per-views last year. One Night Stand 5. December to Dismember. Oh no, wait. One Night Stand 5, One Night Stand 6, and then December to Dismember 2006. Bleh. But I'm glad I got those out of the way now. Still, it was a fun fight, you know. They fight when the pyro goes off, and then they fight in the second tunnel, and then they fight a lot, and yeah, fun hardcore style match, you know. 6.5 out of 10, you know, fun match. And then we get a handicap match. Rhino defeats Bobby Roode and Coach Scott D'Amore. This was mostly just Rhino getting his hands on Scott D'Amore finally. And yeah, it did its job. A 5 out of 10, you know. Rhino unfortunately wouldn't... Well, he wasn't like bad around this time period, but yeah. I mean, he did win into a feud with Christian at No Surrender, and then Bound for Glory. If you want to see those, they're on this channel also, and my main one also, but yeah. Anyways, then we get an elimination match. It's just, what, an exhibition rankings match, they call it, but it's mostly an elimination match. Senshi defeats Sanjay Dutt, Alex Shelley, Shark Boy, Petey Williams, and Jay Lethal, so order of eliminations. Shark Boy was the first one eliminated by Sanjay Dutt, and then Alex Shelley was eliminated by Jay Lethal, and then Jay Lethal was eliminated by Petey Williams, and then Petey Williams was eliminated by Senshi, and then the last came down between Sanjay Dutt and Senshi won this. He was also low-key, and then he was Senshi, and then he was Kaval and Dirty, and the less I said about 2010, the better. Still, it was a decent elimination match, you know. 7 out of 10 I'll give it. It was actually a good one. Anyways, then we get Kevin Nash defeating Chris Sabin. This was like Kevin Nash's first match since Destination X the year prior. If you know, you know. He was supposed to be in the Lethal Lockdown match in 2005, but he couldn't because he got injured at the time, and then he was supposed to fight Jeff Jarrett Bound for Glory. Spoiler, in October. I will do Bound for Glory 05 in 2011, and 2 Halloween Havocs also. But I will vote on the main channel sometime later in the year, probably in, I don't know, before October. I want to vote what No Mercy you want me to do. 3 choices: 2000, 2003, and 2005. No other No Mercies after that, okay? When would that poll be on? some point soon. Regardless. And this was a fine, David versus Goliath type match. Nash was a heel again. I always thought Nash was so like better off as a heel, but he does play a babyface well. And yeah, fine match. I give it a 7.5. It was better than the last match, but yeah. I don't think the Jim Cornette introduction came in before this. No, wait, that was before the next match. Never mind. Because the next match is a last chance match for the the NWA/TNA World Tag Team Championships. AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels defeat America's Most Wanted to win the tag team titles. This was their last chance, basically. They lost on the first Impact of 2006. Then they lost again at Sacrifice, and this was their last chance. So, now, this was the best match of the night. Bar none. I'll tell you what my best and worst match is again. I'm bringing that back because I know a lot of people are going to say, that's ripping off James from Real Pro Wrestling. I don't care. Actually, I'm not doing that. This was the best match tonight, and yeah, fuck it. They did win a lot, so there's that. Some woman they surrounded, I don't know who the fuck she was. She took out Gail Kim, and they kept going after that little run-in. And then when AJ Styles and Chris Reveals did their super combo finishers to win the tag team titles. 8.5 out of 10, best of the night, best match of the night. And yeah, and then afterwards they show, highlights of the first 4 years of TNA, and then Jim Cornette comes in, as, I don't know, an authority figure as well, because basically at this point was mostly a bad guy at this point, because he was still in the feud with Raven, and if I ever do Victory Road, the next pay-per-view again on here, yeah, probably, I don't know when I'll do it. And then afterwards, before we get to the next match, we get the Scott Steiner promo afterwards. No, it's not the Matt promo. It's him saying, "Don't call that half-breed Samoa Joe! You call him for what he is! Sloppy Joe!" And then, he says, "TNA Magic wants you to beat me, because I don't want to sell this DVD, the best of DVD, called The Best of Samoa Joe, Unstoppable. Well, this crap is unsellable!" By the way, great DVD, by the way. Yeah, I brought that up because Scott Steiner just threw that DVD down and says, "This crap is unsellable," and all that. Scott Steiner, fucking love his when he gets a live mic. And yeah. And we get this match. Scott Steiner and Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe defeats Scott Steiner. And yeah. This was a fun match. And yeah. For Scott Steiner's interview before the match, 7.5 out of 10. It was so fucking hilarious. And then finally we get the main event. Actually, I will do that best and what's the best and worst match on the show. Fuck it. But it's only for the retro ones. Nah, I won't do it. Fuck it. I'm not gonna do it. Fuck it. A King of the Mountain match for the NWA/TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Jeff Jarrett defeats Christian Cage, Abyss, Ron the Truth Killings, and Sting to win back the world title in one of the most controversial moments in TNA history. Yes. It was, yada yada yada. But this was still, a fun match. I give it an 8 out of 10. Second best match on this pay-per-view. Larry Zbyszko hits Christian in the Family Jewels. I'm not going through every pinfall in this match because that'll take forever. He hits Christian in the Family Jewels. Jarrett was going to hit Sting with his Slapnuts guitar. Yeah, you're going to hear me say, whenever Jeff Jarrett gets a guitar, it'll say Slapnuts guitar. So there's that. And then the end comes when Sting got a phantom 3 count Jeff Jarrett. He gets the belt, he climbs up the ladder, Christian and Sting grab the belt, and then referee Heather pushes the ladder down, and Jeff Jarrett climbs the ladder with the belt and hangs the belt. You know, he wins the title again. But then Jim Cornette grabs the belt off of Jarrett. That was meaningless also. I mean, and then when Jarrett was introduced as the new champion, Mike Tenay says the words that we don't like to hear in any of the English language, or whatever he said before that. Because Jarrett is like, you know, the biggest bad guy in TNA, so it did continue the story between Jarrett and Sting that ended at Bound for Glory that same year, which, you know, I already did Bound for Glory 2006. Probably one of my favorite pay-per-views TNA ever did. And yeah, 8 out of 10. Second best behind the tag team title match. You know, still, it was a very, I really do enjoy these early TNA pay-per-views from this time period also. So I give it an 8 out of 10. There was no, like, blah match on here, but that's good to hear. So next week, WCW The Great American Bash 2000. And nobody's just heckling at my parents. Just ignore that. Yeah. WCW The Great American Bash 2000. I'll do my Money to Bank review also. Money Bank should just go away. And then Sunday, I probably do the Door to the Explorer Backpack Adventure video game review also. Get that done over it. So there's that. Like this video, comment below, subscribe to this channel, click the notification bell. That's what's my main channel also, so yeah. And then after Money Bank, the Raw and SmackDown videos will be back. But is it too soon for me to bring them back? I don't know. Bye-bye.